All right, so it seems like everybody's been following the news about Pope Francis's health, and I know there's a lot of information out there. We're going to try and cut through the noise today and give you a clearer picture of what's really going on. I've got some excerpts here from a recent article that dives deep into his condition. So, are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I find particularly interesting about this whole situation? It's the long-term implications we're
Ah,
talking about here. I mean, the Pope's age and this illness, it really raises questions about his health going forward and even his ability to lead the church.
yeah, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean for the future?
Exactly.
So let's try and sort through all of this. Like, the most recent update I saw said his condition is stable as of March 4th. They're also saying, no respiratory distress, no bronchospasms, but they keep using this phrase, cautious prognosis.
Yeah.
What does all that even mean?
Okay, well, first of all, stable, that's a good sign, right? It means his vital signs are okay, things aren't getting worse. But then you've got this cautious prognosis, which basically means doctors are still concerned, they're watching him closely because things can change, especially, given his age.
Right, so like stable, but they're not out of the woods yet.
Exactly.
Okay. So the article also mentions he's getting this, it sounds pretty intense, high-flow oxygen therapy and respiratory physiotherapy. What are those?
Yeah, so think about it like this. Imagine a gentle, warm breeze constantly blowing over your face, and it's helping you take these deeper, easier breaths.
Okay.
That's kind of what high flow oxygen is like. And then the physiotherapy, think of it as like a workout, but for your lungs.
Oh, okay.
It helps clear out any like gunk, strengthens those breathing
Oh,
muscles.
wow. So it's really all about like supporting his breathing in a number of ways. And then on top of that, I read they're also going to use non-invasive ventilation at night. What exactly does that involve?
Yeah, so this is basically like, a gentle nudge for his lungs while he's sleeping.
Okay.
They'll put a mask over his nose or face, and it just provides a little bit of pressure to help his lungs do their job better.
Gotcha. It's interesting. The report also says all his other stuff, his heart, his kidney, blood work, all stable too. I'm curious, why are those so important to keep track of?
Well, think of it like this. Those are like the canary in the coal mine, right?
Okay.
Any changes there, especially with a respiratory illness, could be an early warning sign. It's all about helping the doctors stay one step ahead.
It's not just the physical stuff, though,
Mhm.
right? I mean, the article mentioned communion, prayer, those kinds of things. Do those actually play a role in all of this, in his recovery?
Oh, absolutely. For a lot of people, faith is a huge source of strength, comfort. It can help you stay positive, focused on healing, and that can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, for sure. So let's rewind a bit. This whole thing kind of started, what, back on February 9th when he had to cut his sermon short because he was having all this trouble breathing.
Yeah, and at first, it seems like bronchitis, right? Which is basically the tubes that carry air to your lungs get inflamed.
Okay.
But here's the thing, bronchitis can sometimes lead to something more serious, like pneumonia.
Oh,
And that's exactly what happened to the Pope.
and it wasn't just any pneumonia, right? They said bilateral pneumonia. What's the difference?
Yeah, it's more serious. Imagine having a cold, but in both lungs instead of just one. Makes breathing way harder. Recovery takes much longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I remember reading about that CT scan. It said it showed a complicated condition requiring pharmacological treatment. What does it even mean? Pharmacological treatment.
It basically means they're using medications to fight the infection and help him heal. Antibiotics are the big ones for pneumonia. They might be using other things too, open up his airways, reduce inflammation, that kind of thing.
I see. And then things kind of took a turn, didn't they? Like March 1st when he had that bronchospasm and ended up on a ventilator.
Right, yeah.
What was going on there?
So a bronchospasm is like, imagine a sudden Charlie horse, but in your lungs. Everything clamps down. Breathing becomes super difficult. It's a scary complication with pneumonia, and sometimes a ventilator is the only way to get enough oxygen in there.
So it sounds like it can escalate pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of put it all together then, the Pope's condition is stable right now, but it's also complex, and he's getting a lot of different treatments.
Exactly. And, coming back to what we were discussing earlier, what happens next is the big question. Like, what does this mean for his health long term? What does it mean for the papacy?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. Well, thank you so much for helping us break it all down. We're certainly all sending our best wishes to Pope Francis for a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stay informed, everyone.
We'll see you next time.